Uh, I'm late. No, I'm fine. Hello, ciao, nice people. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we are back on the wrong game. Wait a minute. Here it is. We are back on the game where Twitch chat plays, except... Oh no! The payload! We lost the payload! Never mind, it's going back. Okay, I forgot I was testing the payload to give him such a speed even. Huh. It's fine. We can make it a little slower. Okay. Better. So, what's the goal for today? Good question. I feel like there's still a lot of stuff to do. And I mean, a lot. First of all, maybe we may want some music. Am I right? We go with the usual. I really want to one day or the other have some background music of my choice, so I can put every music I used in my games, since they are all free to use. This is fine. A little low, but okay. So again, what are we doing today? I want to work on the enemy encounters, because it will work differently here. How is the idea? My first thought is there is some sort of spawner, and the goblins are coming to the spawner towards the payload, so they will kind of follow the track on the opposite way. So it's perfect. It works in a way, right? Since it will only follow the track. On the other side, though, I don't want an infinite amount of enemies. I would like maybe enemies that arrive from thresholds. Also, I can make just a pathfinding to the payload, so it's probably easier. So we should have goblins that after a certain threshold of the payload, which we can mark with an event, right? We need an event without a text, though. I think it's doable, though. We can have an event. After going on that one, you trigger the goblin once, and that will appear off screen and go towards the payload. Or even appear with an animation, I don't know. I found unfix. Should I make a way to break the tracks? Could be a mechanic for a new one, we don't know. Well, there's a lot of stuff I could do actually. So the idea is, after a certain point, a goblin spawns, or an enemy spawns, and goes towards the payload. Though I need to consider who will fight the goblin. Like, if it touches the payload, a battle starts to protect the payload, right? I have a slight idea. People could enter inside the payload. So when they fight the goblin, they will have permanent protection of the payload. Meanwhile, other people that are around will not be the protectionist of the payload or something. I think it could work fine, right? The people that are in the payload cannot do other actions, otherwise they get out. But they protect the payload and they get a slight defense buff we can make. The other people around won't get those bonuses, and the people that are carrying an item will be slower. And people that are repairing the tracks will start later. I think that might make sense. Or even the people that are repairing the track will not participate. I will decide later. Though we need to return on the battles again. Yeah, that will not be easy. I believe that's the hardest part. Seeing all this stuff still to do, after all we've done, it's kind of demotivating, but I'm glad that we have those streams because it's the moment where I have to go forward because like I'm streaming. Like if I say no, I'm not streaming, then I don't know. Looks like I don't want to work, which is kind of the point. But it's a way to push myself forward, right? Doing this development on stream, because you know you have to stream because you said you would. So let's first work on the trigger, shall we? For the trigger, we can have. You know what? We could have the trigger itself to be the goblin, right? So for example, if the track goes here, it will be an invisible version. We can keep this one. Let's see. Definitely we could recycle this one. So when you go here, a goblin will spawn in a position we decide. And we can activate its self switch even, which definitely would make it easier. So, when you go on this one, you activate the self switch. And when it triggers, it becomes the monster. Again, we don't have a goblin with a... It's a zombie, right? Does it matter? We can call it goblin. Okay, so when it triggers once, though it also needs to get a name. I don't want it to have a name now. Also, I would like that people could write goblin in time in chat to force a battle before interacting with the payload or something. Or we can just have goblins on the payload itself, right? When the payload reaches a goblin, the fight will start. Though maybe we can have a mix of the two, right? I don't know though, because I also want to consider people that start battles on the other side of the map. Everyone will move at the same time, to be fair, but because the screen will be focused on the payload. But what if there is a way to join the battle? Like, there is a timer and the battle will start in 3 seconds, and only if you type goblin you will join. Or maybe only if we are close enough you will join. I don't know, there's a lot of design choices to do on the game. I like the idea of being in range, but maybe we can program it on the other version of the exploration, because I don't want to have only payload levels, right? For now. For now, the idea is we could even not have a name, because the goblin will go straight for the payload, right? So when you go on it, it triggers automatically the self switch. We could have that it automatically teleports even. We teleport it to the next location, let's say here. There's a lot of X's around, huh? We could even have an animation. At least we can choose character by character, right? Where are the animation? Animation here. We can have a darkness. Also, I need to take the English version, maybe. Okay. We can have a wait, so the enemy won't start right away. And that's it. When the payload goes on this one, it triggers this thing. How do we make it trigger? First, we can call it trigger, so we avoid issues. Does it even return a value? Having just a tag like that, does it do anything? Wait. Let's see, where is it? Game map. Here it is. It's the game event number 17. Undefined, but what if I say trigger? Okay, that's cool. If you don't set any parameter, it defaults to true, which makes sense because it does exist. Okay, I like it. Okay, then it's simple. Well, relatively, but here we have the payload that wants to go one step forward. So here we get the event under the payload. Wait. What was the thing here? It was the fork. You know what? The fork we could even just done the fork normally, right? No, to be fair, we still needed to determine in case the payload returns back. So we're gonna keep it. No, we can just do... here we have the payload, it's fine. Here if it turns, it's fine. Now, we still get the event under the payload. Let's make the comment, please. No. Check if fork. Now we have a second one, which is check if event triggers, which could also trigger the story, of course. I need to make the story for this game, right? Oh no. I already know what to make, but it means I have to do it off stream. So let's see. We could make the condition if event under payload is not null and we need to get ID now. How do we get ID? Event under payload dot... I don't remember the data we get. Oh, let's see. I believe we could just wait. For now we can just include all the conditions inside, shall we? So we remove here the condition to check if there is even an event. And so we can have one condition at a time. So here, if it's a fork, you do, otherwise you don't move. And also we do a check for the event trigger, which is another condition. Which I don't remember how to make. I don't remember the properties of event under payload. Can we just log it so we see what it contains? It will spam every step, right? Undefined? Ah, yeah, because there are no new events. Here it is. Okay, it's simply a game event. So we can just get underscore event ID and we are fine. If the event under payload dot event ID Okay, this is the idea. What do we need now? We need to check for the meta tag properties. How do we do it? Well, we got the formula before. Data map events, event ID, which we will put here the event ID we just got. Dot meta trigger. We return true if there is a trigger tag. And if there is, it means we execute it. How did we execute events? I did it a bunch of times here, but I already forgot. We're taking our notes back. I said my browser bugged. Cringe. Guys, I don't know, I'm stuck. My browser is stuck. This browser cannot be more cringe. Guys, I cannot move anything. I'm closing the tabs, I don't care. Yeah, it's bugged completely. Let me close everything. They don't deserve this. Okay, we don't need the music. The music is for poor people. Look at this! It opened it 3 times, but it never showed, and I couldn't even move the window. That's cringe. Also, I can move by clicking here. Can I just move by tapping and... Aha, with this, okay. It doesn't even move. Okay. I don't know. Cringe, if you ask me. But sure. Because I tried to move this one on this side. Back on the music. And back on Twitch because I lost my chat, maybe. Just maybe. Okay, it's events and a way to run the event. Wasn't there a way here? Execution. Game up event start. That's simple. Again, I believe that's what we did for movement. So when we see that there is a trigger, we just say game up event ID, which is again this thing, and it runs. Shall we try it? The first time is the goblin spawn, the second time is the battle. Let's see. And it's... why does it move? Why doesn't it move? Did I mess up anything? Game. What the hell, game? Is it because of the gate? Something is wrong and it's not with my world map. Because maybe I moved this thing. Oh yes, the turning. The turning should be if there is no event. No wait, it should be anyway. The turning should be if there is not a fork. So it should happen. We should make a jump. Not the cleanest way, but let's see. So the else condition here is the one that moves everything behind the scenes. We can keep it here. No, wait. Yeah, I have an idea. We can remove it and we can make... we can even remove the else condition here. That's it. Wait. That's actually super simple. We just remove all the else condition. And now when you move on the fork, you skip turning. So we set up here a label to skip the turning. Let's see, it should be right after this one. Turn around. And here we have skip turning. So if you go on the fork, you skip turning. That's it. That's the only case. For now. Maybe we would still need, but later. Okay. Now that we have this, we need to try the goblin, which should work. Let's see. It turns. Now it triggers the goblin. Awesome. Though it's in the wrong position. Well, it's a little late. Also interesting, there is a wait, but the payload doesn't stop. Huh, because it runs the other event, but it doesn't interrupt the previous one. Interesting. We position it here. So now the goblin will spawn here. And when it touches, it's battle! Yes, 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 we have it. That's great. Now, we should implement the statuses for the team, right? I suppose we should implement someone to enter the payload, right? Though I kinda like the idea of everyone being around doing stuff. So being the we could make maybe a limit on the people on the payload. So people don't hoard the payload every time. I suppose that's the idea. Wait, I wanted the goblin to move towards the payload though. Because we could just keep zombies there then. I believe we can make it simple, right? No, wait. What happens if... What happens if it goes towards the player, but it goes on top? Damn, you're slow. You're slow. Faster. Okay, you cannot walk. Ah, you can walk on top, but you bug out. No, that's not what I want. I don't think you can make contact. No, the payload is not true. I believe I made it transparent. Maybe not. If you make the goblin not transparent, will it get body blocked by players? I believe players don't do body block anymore, right? I removed it. So we can remove the true from the goblin. Though we need to make contact trigger for the payload. That's ass. So I kinda want some ambushes, otherwise it's a little off, a little weird if all the enemies are still on the same place. I want some dynamism here. So we need it to move. Would be better if, for example, the payload was the player, right? It was would be easier to trigger some events. We can still manage it though. We can have the goblin with a custom movement. Needs to be a parallel process, I believe. Needs to be a parallel process. So what does it do? It should pathfind towards the payload, and if it's on the same tile, I will make it go transparent. No, wait, it cannot go transparent. The payload can go transparent, right? Does the payload can go transparent? Because if there are blocks, it will not go forward. No, we can actually make that there needs to be a difference of one tile. Like, you are very close to the payload to trigger. So we can just have movement root for this event. And you go with the tactical movement. How was it? I remember. I forgot it every time. Here, move straight towards this. Easy. So, this dot move straight towards the game event with the coordinates of the new game event. But again, game up events, and we get the payload ID. And can we just have .y? That's how I get it, right? Now, what is the ID of the payload? Should be here, right? It's payload event ID in the variable 102. So we can just have that it moves towards game variables 102. Same for the x coordinate. And now we should move towards the payload. Let's see. No, don't run now. No, I should stop that goblin maybe. But now the goblin spawns. I should put it further away though. Okay, and you stay closer, and you stay still. Okay. Now it spawns, and starts to move closer. Yes. And blocks the way, but that's okay. So, how do we know it's there? We need to run every step a check. So, is this event on top and near the other? How do we do it? We can again use our cool utility functionalities for this. And if we don't have it, make a new one. So we have to get the next tile coordinates, tile region ID. We can just get distance. Get event distance. Event 1, event 2. Simple enough. Actually, it's pretty straightforward, right? We get event 1. We already have. No, it's event 1 ID, event 2 ID. So the event 1 is game up events, event 1 ID. For the 2, it's, guess what? Event 2 ID. Now that we have both, what do? We should have the difference. The difference for the x coordinate. Is there like a way directly to calculate the distance? Does it have automatically RPG Maker? Oh well, we can make it with relativism. X minus the other x. And we need to have it absolute. So it's not negative. Same with y. You would ask me why, I answer x. That's not funny. And now that we have 2, we have the difference horizontally and vertically. Now we just sum it. So if it's one close to the other, there will be one difference, the difference of one x or y, and the other one is 0. So if it's on the left, Dex difference is 1, the Y difference is 0. So it returns 1. Let's see if it works. So the goblin again. With the condition to check the distance between this event ID and the other event ID, which was stored in game value 102. And so if this is less or equal to 1, then we start the battle. With the goblin, of course. Let's see. Spawn the goblin. Come there. And start the battle! Yes, yes, it's working. I'm so happy. So. First, I wonder though, I should definitely put this one in... Oh wait though. I cannot put it in a common event, right? Because the battle will be different. So we're gonna keep it like this. I don't think it's an issue though. Hopefully. We cannot make it as a prefab because it will have differences like the type of enemy and of course where it spawns. Doesn't matter though. Now we need to get some effects. First, if you hold a ball, an item, you get one sort of the buff. Let's go with the states, shall we? I should translate everything. I should copy the database from somewhere else. I believe it's a little too late though. Okay. First is in the payload. In the payload you get... we can just have... Where is it? I believe it's an extra parameter, right? Special parameter? Aha! You take less physical damage and less magical damage. Not too much to avoid making it broken. Okay, and we can just have random resistance to... less evasion I would make for countering it. Of course, though, it can be fine-tuned later. Okay, this is in payload. Now we have transporting a ball. Or more like hands full. We can have goblin. Nah, it will be different now. We don't go to the goblin anymore. The goblin goes to us. Hello, I see the emoji again. Good emoji. Okay, when you carry an item, you will be much slower. So we can have... Where is it? Here. The speed, the agility will be halved, which is very dire. Anything else? I think that's more than enough as a debuff. And the last one is, for now, when you're repairing. Busy. And when you're busy, you are just stunned. Cannot move. When you cannot move, you cannot move. Return at the end of the round. Oh yes, we got explosions. The ball. Well, yeah, when you carry the ball, you get this debuff in battle. I'm gonna try it. It disappears after we can make 3 rounds. And we... I don't want to keep the buffs, though. Also, though, you are less likely to be hit, also. So, it's... target rate. We can make it even 0%. So you will be the last one targeted. Makes sense because you're busy elsewhere repairing. Okay, that's enough. We're gonna try those 3 statuses. We should apply the statuses when the action is being performed. I believe that's easier. Instead of calculating at the start of battle. So, we return on the code. Let's see, when you get added to repair a truck, for example, where you add a worker, where is it? Reset trucks, no, complete repair. Add worker here. When you add a user, doesn't it also stop the user? Only here, player block. Then we can have it here. We can have player object dot get status, or we can have set status. So we can have the ID of the move, which is repairing 42, and we set it to true. Of course, this thing does not exist, but for now, we need also to make it here. When you complete a repair, for each worker, other than being free, we also need to remove the status of the payload. Also, we can make it a little more practical if we have per track. Wait, per track status ID. So we can have the parameter here right away. So instead of changing the number case by case, we can just refer to this one. So we know that the status of repairing is saved in the class itself. So we can change only one of those. Okay, we got one. We still need to have the set status to something because it doesn't do anything. Should be here. Where do we make it? Movement, holding. Isn't there a button to remove it, to collapse everything? Skills, almost. We can have here. Status. So set status. ID. Is applied. And now, I don't think we need to store it anywhere. We can just use it. We can just give it to the player. Let's see. Status. Huh? What do you mean no, nothing? Actor. Game. How do we add a status? I swear there is a way. Set player. Change state. Ah, state it's called, not status. Okay, so it's game actors actor, this actor ID dot add state and status ID. Where are you? Why are you here? Though wait, because is applied here is different. So if is applied, we apply the status. If it's false, it means we are removing the status. So we do the other thing. Remove, is it? Is it remove? Remove, okay, yeah, that was kind of straightforward. I agree. Also, we can use a party member index, but we don't need it, right? Okay, cool, we have a status here. We could make other stuff here, but for now we are fine. Well, since we are here, we could have like a fully heal. Nah. Okay, here, we set the status. Now, when we complete repair, we remove the status, which we already did. Nice. Now, the other thing, when you grab a ball, it triggers grab item. Grab item, this one. When the player gets the item, and also it applies a status that is low. Set status. We can have break block status ID, which we need to define as well. Break block status ID, which is 41 this time, right? This music is familiar. From which game is it? Deltarune, maybe? When you carry, you have the status 41. That's right. Now, when you lose the item, though... there's another function for this. It's grab item and pour item. So the player will lose the item, right? Where is the player here? Event name, block name. Does the player lose the item? I'm pretty sure it does. Does the player never lose the item? Because when you interact with a block of ice or fire, you trigger power item. And you get a player object with get character interacted, but here it's never triggered. I forgot this thing. Because when you have holding and we have lose item, it's called once here. It's interact. Okay, we get a character here, so it's perfect. So when the player loses the item, we also set the status as false. The hands are free. Now for the last one, for the payload, should we make a class for the payload? Why not? We can make it almost empty, so... Region payload. We can just make this with all the base parameters. So the status ID is 40. The rest is useless. We don't even need that class, to be fair, but looks cool, I suppose. Okay, anything else? For now we have this one. So we need people to get inside the payload. Too bad we need a sprite for that. And I don't think I can make one. We can make a general one, though I don't think it's easy to make a sprite inside another one, right? We could crop the frame, though. We could crop the sprite. It's doable, but is it really necessary? No. For now, if you type payload. This one is a parallel, though. No, that's not good. I kinda want it to run on its own. Yeah, that's not what I wanted, right? Huh. we could have that certain events can't be triggered by the player or something. It's messing up. It's messing up my brain. How do we do? Again, we could move this on another event, a parallel event, but I want it to be on the payload because it makes it so much easier. I don't have many other ideas. Should we? Maybe we should just remove the thing of being in the payload. Also, I kind of don't want to add the payload in battle, you know. We can just ignore the thing, maybe. Maybe it's for the better. Now let's see. Pertract declared. Huh? Ah yeah, my bad. We don't need this now. Now, if I type ball, I get the ball. Wait. If I instead type repair. I have the ball and slower, never mind. So the battle starts and we both have the status of hands full, which means we are slower on the grabbing items. Forever. For the whole battle. There should be the option to drop, but we don't have it. And then repair 1. Will I do it in time? Will it do it in time? Okay. Oh! Player object not defined. Why? Why it's so? Where is it called? Line 72. Right here. Oh yeah. Yes, of course. We can just have... We missed a step. Player object is this one. Then player object dot free and set status. That's what we were missing. Wait, so it triggered right when we started the battle, huh? Wait a little. No. Repair 1. I don't know if I will do it in time again. Then this time I'm faster. Did it remove the status? It did. Okay, we'll be a little slower now, maybe. Much slower. Repair 1. Even if repair 6-7 is a little slower, right? I have the status and I cannot move because I'm repairing. Should there be like a different sprite for this though? Can I make it change? Yeah, here. What do we have? The overlay and the motion up. What is abnormal? AB normal. I need to try. So the PC is what's the difference also between bind and paralysis? Ah, blind. Never mind. Never mind. We can have fear as the effect on the head, and abnormal. While caring is, we can keep this one. So I'm curious about the abnormal effect. Give me a sec. Goblin cam. Yes. Repair 6-7. It's definitely slower, right? Am I faster than the goblin though? Yeah. Am I? I was not faster than the goblin, indeed. A bit, I'm a bit too early now. But it takes its time. Okay, okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm below. I see, I see. I believe it's okay. I think it's fine. Too bad for the payload status here, but maybe it's for the better. What now? I think we did most of the stuff, right? For the other one, we can just put a goblin on the payload. And this one will actually have a name. Should it be true, though? It should, but it shouldn't. I don't know what to say. Like, because if it's not, the payload will crash into it. We can make a check for both cases, though, right? A little weird, but... Here, next event info. It's a little awkward, I gotta admit, but... What do we do? We check if it's not... I saw this one. It returns a special information, right? Where is it? Here, it returns only this object. ID, name, meta, which is empty. And next payload tile event, I don't know what it returns, to be fair. Let's try it right away. What if I say 0, 0? 0, okay, good. So it returns 0 regardless. At worst, returns 0. So we can do something similar. Though I kinda don't like... We could have that payload triggers on the event in front of it. Just to make it make more sense, right? Though it might mess up something, right? Like when the goblin tries to attack, for example. Yeah, I'm not risking that. No, it will only check the stuff below. Which means this goblin needs to be below. Wait, we need to despawn the other though. Now, if we have a goblin here, the payload goes on top and they ignore the goblin, yes, because it doesn't have a trigger. And this one has a trigger, so it's dangerous. Trigger. Also, players might want to fight it early, but I don't know why. Here, battle! Yes, it works. Though when you fight, the goblin disappears. This event goes on the corner and deletes itself. Okay. We're fine now. We didn't do... Well, we did enough. Something today, right? We got the goblin charging towards the payload. And the payload that triggers a battle when you go below, and the statuses. Not a lot, but I want to stop here even if we did only 1 hour. Because I was to the dentist. And I realized maybe I shouldn't talk too much today. Okay. Then that's enough for today. Let's see if we can raid someone. If we have some magic. Raid power. Ah, Megami is always playing Mythopia this hour. No, we've also other people. Let's see. We can go to. It's a long time I don't see Ferki actually. We could raid Ferki. Let me check. It's Keyborg. Otherwise we have mutation, which is drawing. Perfect. We can go to mutation ivory. Okay, that's everything for today. Tomorrow we play another Cryptipedia game. Friday we continue Octopath. Maybe we finish, I don't know. Saturday we play again. We continue the demo of Dungeon Dreams Wanderers. And Sunday we play Doom Paradise again. This will be a full week, huh? Thanks again for coming by. And we see ya whenever happens.